highlights of the news. Rivers Sole Administrator Vice Admiral retired Ibas announces establishment of Rivers State Emergency Management Agency. President Tinubu hails Petrobras' imminent return to Nigeria after 5 years. And federal government unveils portal to track teachers nationwide. Good afternoon and welcome to the news at 3. I am Catherine Ago. Do you love and care about Rivers State and her peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is a task we must accomplish. Now details of the news. The Rivers State Administrator Vice Admiral retired Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas has reiterated the state's commitment to enhancing its disaster preparedness and response, especially in the light of predicted flooding and related emergencies. Vice Admiral Ibas said this while receiving a courtesy visit, a delegation from the National Cinema, led by the Director of Planning, Research and Forecasting, Dr. Onimode Abdullahi Bandele, to the Government House. Tamunobarabi Ibulubo has the report.
Vice Admiral Ibas stated the importance of community awareness and preparedness, citing the recently concluded flood simulation exercise in Imbiama, Awuda West local government area, as a significant step towards readiness and public sensitization. He said crucial and proactive steps are taken to mitigate impacts of disaster should they occur again, and thanked NEMA for its participation in the simulation exercise, which served as a wake-up call and a reminder that disaster often strike without warning.
It is very important that we pay attention to this and be able to make preparations to be able to mitigate the effects if they do happen. And so I want to thank you for being part of that effort, to give us a sense of reawakening, to remind us that when disasters will happen, they do not give you notice.
The administrator also disclosed that the state is rehabilitating some internally displaced persons' IDP camps, desilting canals, particularly around Port Harcourt and surrounding areas, and empowering the Rivers State Waste Management Agency, RWAMA, to improve refuse disposal and maintain cleaner streets across the state. Vice Admiral Ibas also announced that the state has begun the process of establishing the Rivers State Emergency Management Agency, which will further enhance disaster response capacity.
We have taken deliberate steps, I'm sure you have also seen from the SIs, to rehabilitate most of the IDPs. We are carrying out the silting of the canals, especially around Port Harcourt area and the local governments around. We as well as we've gotten the Waste Management Agency, ramped up to be able to carry out their responsibility of disposing of refuse clearly and neatly on our streets throughout the state.
Dr. Bamidele described the flood simulation exercise held in Imbiama, Awuda West local government area as the best of its kind ever organized in the state. He praised the initiative for effectively showcasing the deployment of both local and state resources to demonstrate the expected response during the flood event. Tamunobarabi Ibluwo, Rstv News.
Rivers State Sole Administrator Vice Admiral retired Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas has reiterated his administration's determination to not just contain the impending flooding in parts of the state as announced by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, but also reduce incidents of loss of lives. The state sole administrator gave the assurance at Imbiama in Awuda West local government area, where practical examples and handling food challenges were demonstrated. Gaspar Anele has the details.
Vice Admiral Ibas, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Lucky Worika, explained that flooding in coastal areas has not only displaced residents, but claimed many lives in the past, hence the need to start early sensitization and preparations. The sole administrator harped on the essence of practically demonstrating safety methods to apply when the flood finally sets in, as well as life-saving tactics to adopt. Vice Admiral Abbas enjoined the media, community leaders and various stakeholders to redouble their efforts in the preparation window to ensure the reason for the sensitization.
Of course, the establishment of the inauguration of the board of Rwama. This joint effort reflects a simple truth. No single ministry, no single agency, and no single government can fight floods alone. Disasters respect no boundaries, so our response must accordingly be collective.
The sole administrator also disclosed the committees and other relevant bodies created to assist in the actualization of the process.
Beyond coordination, we have taken practical steps better prepare the state to mitigate any effects of flood. Accordingly, I have approved the following: the rehabilitation of 10 IDP camps and rebuilding the warehouse at forward operational base Ahoda, procurement of palliative items, desilting of all canals within Port Harcourt and Obiako local government areas.
Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubaida Umaru, represented by the Director of Planning, Research and Forecasting, Dr. Bandele Onimode, said the agency is set to initiate measures to mitigate the flooding and urged the inhabitants of flood-prone areas to strictly adhere to the directives given during the sensitization exercise. In the same vein, Administrator Ahoda West Local Government Council, Promise Jacob, expressed delight over the urgent attention given to the imminent disaster and promised to support the state government's efforts.
Today, we are simulating a crisis scenario so that we are better prepared to save lives when it becomes a reality. Let me reiterate that preparedness saves lives. Our ability to anticipate, respond to, and recover quickly from disaster depends largely on how we train and work together before disaster strikes.
I urge no fears, even if the flood comes as it was predicted. I know God will help us, His Excellency having started helping us, and NEMA, we will come out clean without being victims of that which God ended before today.
God's Power Anele, Rstv News.
The class of 1974 to 1979 in the Nigerian Military School, Zaria, has called on government at all levels as well as good-spirited Nigerians to invest and be involved in the well-being of humanitarian homes across the country. President of the ex-boys, Air Commodore Ayodeji Aduayo, made the call during a visit to the Old People's Home, Port Harcourt, as part of the activities preceding the association's annual general meeting. Justice Ihunwo reports.
Air Commodore Dunayo said the essence of the reunion is to appreciate God for keeping them all these years, hence the visit to the Old People's Home, as they also anticipate to get old soon.
We feel as part of that reunion, we should do service to humanity, and that is why we have come to the Old People's Home today to give them some material items and also to bless them financially. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs will be a part of supporting the other people.
The group presented food items and cash to the inmates. The association also held a gala and award night where the president noted that the AGM is a reminder that they are not just alumni but living, active and united in brotherhood, and commended the GOC 6th Division for his hospitality.
This year's AGM stands out in our history for several reasons. First, we launched a new constitution today, modernized to reflect our realities and to secure our future.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, was represented by the General Officer Commanding 6th Division, Major General Emmanuel Emeka, while the Chief of Air Staff was represented by Air Vice Marshal Sunday Aneke.
On behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, he has asked me to convey his best wishes to you, to wish you well in your annual meeting and the reunion, and to felicitate with you hoping that the purpose of which they have come here is achieved.
Justice Ihuo, Rstv News.
Nigeria Wise Women Awards, a faith-based non-denominational charity organization, has presented a plaque to the acting general manager, Garden City FM, Mrs. Joy Kenneth Robinson, an award of Christian women in leadership and media. The ceremony held in Port Harcourt was to honor and identify with Mrs. Robinson and other female Christians who had impacted the lives of the less privileged in the society. Melvin Jackson continues with the report.
In an interview, Mrs. Robinson, who dedicated the award to God Almighty, thanked the group for recognizing her as a virtuous woman who had influenced society positively in her leadership position as a media person. According to her, as an unexpected award, it will spur her to continue to do more as she remains willing vessel and inspiration to champion faith and reflect Christ in all she does.
The service that has brought me here today, I didn't know I'll be nominated, but I feel so excited. I am motivated to do more because since you're here, you saw the caliber of people. I feel less qualified, but when the grace of God is available, God makes you qualify where you don't even qualify. Wherever I find myself, I make sure I add value to anybody. The level of integrity in this group, I want them to keep it up.
Founder of the organization, Apostle Onengie Majori Esomowe, said Wise Women Award is a decade old in Rivers State and 21 years old in the United Kingdom, and urged the awardees to see themselves as a family who should continue to support Christian women within their reach.
On this one, the reason why we take time to write their stories is because we're saying, read their stories, they deserve the award. Many of them, out of their pockets, are doing incredible things. One or two of them that have won awards, I know, but most of them I don't know. But I've read their stories, we've looked at them, and they are credible, and today we truly want to celebrate them.
Other recipients, including the wife of former Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Minak Teleikuru, thanked the organization for the recognition and advised the young generation to toe the path of godliness if they must succeed.
In life is one thing to do something quietly in your own little corner, trying to make a little bit of difference in the little way you can. So when such little efforts you make is magnified, you have no other choice but to do more. So today I thank God, I give him all the glory for this honor that has been given to me. I'm dedicating it to every woman out there, and by extension to our families. I dedicate it to humanity, and I pray that God will give us the enablement to even perform much more than we already have.
Melvin Jackson, Rstv News.
Do you love and care about Rivers State and her peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is the task we must accomplish. Up ahead, Botswana declares health emergency amid critical medicine shortages, and U.S. President Trump orders removal of Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. These and more news stories when we return from the break. Stay tuned.
Make you sabi, make una plan well. Learn correct information about different kind of family planning method. Then they safe and they work well. You and your partner fit plan when una like to born pikin. Tanda well, make you yarn with your partner. Make them sabi say you support modern family planning. Oh yeah, waka go kolobi the better one wey go fit your body today. Cause say we get one wey correct for you and your partner. Sabi the correct thing wey family planning dey do. Follow talk family planning with your partner. Waka go do family planning. Get it together. Get it together. Join hand plan your family for tomorrow way better.
Now the Rivers State Ministry of Health bring with this message.
This is Rstv World News. We bring you world-class news, accurate, first-hand, entertaining. balanced analysis. Rstv, Channel 22 Port Harcourt.
You're welcome back. President Bola Tinubu has welcomed the imminent return of Petrobras, Brazil's state-owned oil company, to Nigeria 5 years after it suspended joint venture operations in the country. Speaking at a joint press conference in Brasilia during his state visit to Brazil, President Tinubu said Petrobras' comeback would reignite economic cooperation in the energy sector between both nations. The president also commended his Brazilian counterpart, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, for his commitment to revitalizing bilateral ties, stressing that Nigeria remained a fertile ground for investment. He also acknowledged Embraer's ongoing efforts to boost Nigeria's aviation sector, particularly through the establishment of a service center to cater for airline repairs and maintenance in West Africa. President Tinubu, who recalled previous visits to Brazil, said the two countries must move beyond symbolic ties to concrete economic cooperation. The federal government has warned that 9 states across the northern region may experience heavy downfall that could trigger flooding from now to August 29, 2025. In a statement by the director of the Russian Flood and Coastal Zone Management Department, Usman Abdullahi Bokana, through Federal Ministry of Environment, National Flood Early Warning Center, says the states likely to be affected include Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, and Jigawa states. Others are Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. The department had earlier predicted possible flooding in 7 states and 25 locations across Nigeria. The ministry, in its flood alert, warned that heavy rainfall expected could lead to flooding in the listed areas. It further directed residents of the affected states along the floodplain from Jeba to Lokoja to evacuate immediately as the River Niger's water level continues to rise. Meanwhile, the federal government has unveiled a digital portal designed to provide a credible database of Nigerian teachers, streamline licensing, and promote professionalism in the teaching sector. The portal was launched in Abuja by the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria in partnership with the United Kingdom-funded Partnership for Learning for All in Nigeria program. Speaking at the event, the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed, said the initiative marked a new chapter for teacher management in the country. She explained that the portal would enable seamless registration and licensing of teachers, provide a transparent database of qualified professionals, give real-time access to professional development opportunities, and strengthen accountability in the education sector. And in business, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Abubakar Kyari has reiterated the drive of the President Bola Tinubu to ensure that the country ends food importation, as he revealed that the ministry has commenced work on a framework to address food transport infrastructure with over 85 million hectares of arable land. He made this known while speaking at the First Bank 2025 Agri and Export Expo in Lagos. Hannah Ibrahim has the report.
Kyari lamented that despite the land and human resources, the country still spent over $10 billion annually to import food items such as wheat, rice, sugar, fish, and even tomato paste. The minister, who was represented by Ibrahim Akali, said that the government is working to ensure the country's food sovereignty. The federal government has one oil company holding underdeveloped fields that they risk losing their license if they fail to bring them into production, even as the country's crude output edged up to 1.8 million barrels per day, its highest in months. Minister of State for Petroleum, Henike Lopobiri, said dominant access at draining government revenue and undermining Nigeria's standing with OPEC, declared that the holders of such assets must bring them into production or lose them to serious investors. The ultimatum comes after the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission confirmed production has climbed to 1.8 million barrels per day. Lopopiri stressed that the regulators now have full backing of the Petroleum Industry Act PIA to enforce license revocations. The Nigeria Exchange began the week on a positive note as equity gained 285 billion naira in market value, lifted by strong performance in Julius Berger, Nigeria, Qtex and insurance stocks. At the close of trading, the A share index advanced by 435.61, representing a 0.31% rise to settle at 141,439.75. The rally pushed the market capitalization to 89.5 trillion naira, reflecting improved investor sentiment despite recent volatility that has seen the market shed value in the previous week. The trading data showed that a total of 589.73 million shares worth 11.22 billion naira were exchanged in 33,304 deals. Hannah Ibrahim, Rstv Business News.
And on the foreign scene, a health emergency has been declared in Botswana as the country runs critically low on medicines and supply. The shortages have left hospitals and clinics scrambling to treat illnesses ranging from hypertension to cancer and diabetes. Let's join Deborah Olije as she tells us more from the foreign scene.
The Health Ministry blames the crisis on financial challenges. President Domoboko says rising procurement costs and inefficient distribution system have led to losses, waste and damage. The Health Ministry warned of depleting stock and postponed all non-urgent surgeries. Botswana's budget have been under pressure this year, largely due to a prolonged slump in the global diamond markets. Japanese authorities have burned and offered flowers at the grave of a businessman to apologize for wrongly charging him with exporting potentially sensitive industrial machines. Shizo Ashima and 3 other executives were arrested for illegal exports in March 2020. He died of stomach cancer in February 2021, 5 months before the indictments were dropped. His family was at his grave in Yokohama to accept the apology. However, his wife said she could not forgive those who were behind the charge. A huge manhunt is underway for a heavy armed male suspect after 2 Australian police officers were shot dead and 1 injured in an ambush at a property in a small rural town in Victoria State. Police described the situation in Porekunka in the Australia Alps, some 186 miles northeast of Melbourne, as an active incident with hundreds of personnel deployed to find the suspects. Police said the suspect escaped in the bush alone and on foot after the shooting. Police officers are still trying to locate the man's wife and children. US President Donald Trump has said he will immediately remove Federal Reserve official Lisa Cook from her position, a major escalation in his battle against the US Central Bank. He said there was sufficient reason to believe Cook had made false statements of mortgage agreements and cited constitutional powers which said allowed him to remove her. In response, Cook has said Trump has no authority to fire her and she will not resign. Deborah Olije, Rstv Foreign News.
And on entertainment, Nigeria fashion designer Prudence Gabriel and her husband Peter Okopi has shared a lovely video and photos to announce that they are soon to become parents. Ambles Lawrence tells us more from the entertainment story.
The fashion icon married Peter in October last year, and videos and pictures from their beautiful wedding soon surfaced online. In the post shared by Prudence, she and her husband are seen wearing white attire for their pregnancy shoots. She noted that whenever she feels weak, her husband will come up with a new dance step and make her join him. Social media activist Martins Vincent Ote, popularly known as Very Dark Man, has shared details of what happened when he stormed a kidnapping scene in Edo State. A few days ago, the TikToker released a video showing how he and his team confronted kidnappers in Edo State and rescued a victim who unfortunately was left dead. In his latest video, he revealed how he felt betrayed by the military, describing their actions as being stabbed in the back. According to him, he has gone to see the king of Ubalaka regarding the major road used by Dangote trucks. He explained that he urged the king to reach out the billionaire businessman so the road could be repaired. The unexpected death of stand-up comedian Reggae Caro, who was shot late Saturday in the United States, has left the American entertainment industry in mourning. Caro was unfortunately caught in a shooting incident outside the place where he had performed earlier in the evening, or confirmed that he was declared dead at the site. Following reports of a shooting incident, the South Haven Police Department said its officers had identified one male victim suffering from gunshot wounds. The police paid respect to the deceased relative after confirming that an unidentified suspect was in custody and has been charged with the murder of comedian. I'm Blessed Lawrence, Rstv Entertainment News.
And now sports. Former Super Eagles striker Victor Ibeba has backed the team to beat Rwanda and South Africa in the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup. Odibi Tarinabo has the report.
Eric Shell's side will host the Amavubi of Rwanda in a matchday 7 encounter at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo, on Saturday, 6 September. The team will take on the Bafana of South Africa in Bloemfontein 4 days later. The Super Eagles currently occupy 4th position in their group with 7 points from 6 games. Ikpeba believed that the players will get their qualification campaign back on track with victories over Rwanda and South Africa. Getafe head coach Jose Bordalas has said he is not in support of Nigerian international Chris Santos Uche leaving. Bordalas stated this after La Liga tie, which Getafe won 2-1 away to Sevilla. Wolves are close to agreeing a fee of just 20 million euros for Uche, who is expected to sign a 5-year contract. Although his departure appeared imminent, Uche was in action against Sevilla and played the full 90 minutes. Manchester United legend Rio Ferdinand has urged the Red Devils to play to Benjamin Sesko's strengths. Sesko started on the bench as the Red Devils surrendered a 1-goal lead to draw 1-1 away to Fulham on Sunday, just as he had done against Arsenal previously. Odibi Tainabo, Rstv Sports News.
Do you love and care about Rivers State and her peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is a task we must accomplish. That's it on our news at 3. I am Catherine Abu. Thanks for watching and have a beautiful day.